Facebook followers, and I thank the Lord for them. Sometimes they might not chime in until later. You might not know that they're there, but we thank the Lord for our brother over in Uganda that watches us on a regular basis, and our brother in Maryland, Brother Ken. We thank the Lord for him, and we thank the Lord for so many more that are faithful and watch us on Facebook. And we thank the Lord for giving us that avenue to reach out to other people beyond the building. At this time, we're going to go ahead and dismiss our children's church, children's Bible study ministry, and we thank the Lord for them so our children can learn the Word of God on their level. Amen. All right, we're going to pass out our quiz. This week we're studying chapters 46 through 50 in the book of Genesis. Oh yeah, and if somebody need a pencil, there's a pencil right there, brother. And if somebody need a pencil, just raise your hand and meet Brother Murphy partway, and he'll give you a pen. And as I said, we're studying through the Bible, and we started in the book of Matthew, and we completed the entire New Testament. And after the New Testament, then we started in the Old Testament in the book of Genesis. And so now we're in the last 5 chapters in the book of Genesis. And it's some very good and easy reading. It's just like reading a novel, easy to understand. And so what we do each week is we do a little quiz to start out the Bible study session to see how much we might have comprehended during our reading. So, all right, it looks to me like everybody have a copy. We thank the Lord for our faithful young people passing out these copies for us tonight. Thank you, ma'am. All right, thank you, Van. Thank you. All right. This was some pretty easy reading, so I expect to see several 100s tonight. If I see the more 100s I see, the better I think I did. All right. Number 1. All the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Egypt, were 70. 70. All right, for those that don't know what 70 is, that's 70. A score is 20. 70 is 60. And then add 10 to that, that is 70 people. Now, the reason I'm trying to go through this, I want everybody to make 100. But I know that some of y'all not reading from the King James Version. Y'all read some other version. And I told you the quiz coming from the King James Version. So you can read the other versions, but you need to read the King James Version also first. So 70 is 70. All right, number 2. To be a shepherd was an honorable occupation to the Egyptians. To be a shepherd was an honorable occupation to the Egyptians. Number 3, when the people had no more money, Joseph gave them grain to avoid starvation. When the people had no more money, Joseph gave them grain to avoid starvation. Number 4, Jacob asked Joseph to promise him that when he died, he would not bury him in Egypt. Jacob asked Joseph to promise him that when he died, that he would not bury him in Egypt. Number 5, Manasseh is the name of Joseph's firstborn son. Manasseh is the name of Joseph's firstborn son. Number 6, Jacob placed his right hand upon the youngest son when he blessed them. Jacob placed his right hand upon the youngest son when he blessed him. Number 7, Judah received the blessing from Jacob that his brothers would bow before him. Judah received a blessing from Jacob that his brothers would bow before him. Number 8, the 12 sons of Jacob are the 12 tribes of Israel. The 12 sons of Jacob are the 12 tribes of Israel. Number 9, after his death, Jacob's son buried him in Egypt with his fathers. After his death, Jacob's sons buried him in Egypt with his fathers. Number 10, after the death of his father, Joseph remembered the evil that his brothers did to him and put them in bondage. After the death of his father, Joseph remembered the evil that his brothers did to him and put them into bondage. All right, let's trade papers with somebody. All right. I just got a good feeling about this tonight. I got a good feeling. All right. All right. Number 1, all the souls of the house of Jacob, which came into Egypt, were 70. That's true or false? That is true. That is how many people? 70 people that came out of that went into Egypt with Jacob. Now I'm going to ask you this: how long were they in Egypt? Do anybody know how long they were in Egypt? 14 years? 400 years? Okay. Yes, it was 400. In some places it says 400 years. Some places it was like 433 years. But God had told Israel, or told Jacob, that they will go down into Egypt and they will be in bondage for 400 years. Now, when they went in 70 people. When they came out 400 years, who led them out in the 400 years? Moses led them out. So how many came out? How many millions? Okay. I've heard somebody say it was around 3 million people that came out. So that was, God told him that when he went to Egypt, that he would make a great nation out of him. See, he went in a community with 70 people, a family, but he came out with about 3 million people when it was over a period of 400 years. Okay, Alex, you want to say something? Got a confused look on your face? Jacob died. Yeah. Oh, how long Jacob himself lived? Okay, what he is referring to is that Jacob lived in Egypt like 17 years from the time that he went in there. But his nation, his people, didn't come out for 400 years. They multiplied while they were in Egypt. And they became a great nation in Egypt. But they came in bondage. When we get over a little bit further, you will see that it says there arose a Pharaoh that knew not Joseph. See, Joseph had favor with the Pharaoh that was there. But over a period of time, another Pharaoh rose up that didn't remember Joseph, didn't know nothing about Joseph. And he became fearful of the children of Israel because they were growing, they began to multiply and it was so many of them, so they put them in bondage. They made slaves out of them. And so that's when the Lord delivered them after a 400-year period. All right, number 2. To be a shepherd was an honorable occupation to the Egyptians. True or false? What was the occupation considered in Egypt? Yeah, it says that to be a shepherd was an abomination. And it got kind of confusing because Jacob told them, say, when you go before Pharaoh, you tell him that you are cattlemen because it's an abomination. But when they got there, they told him that they were shepherds. Yeah, but God still apparently gave them favor with Pharaoh because of Jacob. And that let me know a lot of times we try to teach this to boys and to men. A lot of times your favor come with who you connected to. It is. Because you are connected to a certain person or a certain group of people, there is favor that people will give you just because of who you're connected to. And at the same time, they will also reject you according to who you're connected to. Yeah, that's right. That's right. I think Brother Alex brought that out to the boys at Boys and Men whenever he was there the last time, letting them know sometimes you just keep your mouth shut. And if you don't say nothing, people can't hold you accountable for what you didn't say. So we thank the Lord for that. All right, number 3. When the people had no more money, Joseph gave them grain to avoid starvation. True or false? When they ran out of money, what did Joseph do? When they ran out of money, Joseph said, well, if you ain't got no money, then you sell your land, you use your land and your cattle. He didn't give them nothing. He told them, when you ran out of money, I was telling my wife, that sounds like something familiar that we hear right now going on in our society. And what's happening is the procedure that's going on now in America can make the nation rich with all that money that all these different companies and different countries have to pay into America. So it can make the nation rich, but at the same time, it's making the people broke because the people got to pay. See, it trickles down back to them. So what Joseph did was Joseph charged them for the corn, for the meal, and then once they ran out of money, then he told them, say, well, you just use your livestock and your land. And so they had to use their livestock and their land. Then when they ran out of livestock and land, Joseph said, well, now you ain't got no livestock and no land. You got nothing left but yourself. So you sell yourself to Pharaoh. And so that's what he did. So he was making Pharaoh rich, but the people was getting poor. But then he came up with a plan and told them, said, that what I would do, now that your land and everything belong to Pharaoh, you belong to Pharaoh, I'm going to give you seed and food so you can plant. And when you plant and you grow your crops, then you got to give Pharaoh 20%. Sir? 1/5 is the same thing as 20%. Those that know math, yeah, but that's what he said was 1/5. And 1/5 is the same thing as 20%, right? Okay, so he was charging them a 20% interest on their property and on their fields and on what they did. So Joseph was a good businessman. And the people appreciated that because he said, if it had not been for you, we would have starved to death. So they appreciated what he did, even though he went through the process of business. He didn't give them anything. He let them spend everything they had. Then after they spent everything they had, then he put them to work for him. Not for him, but for Pharaoh, because he represented Pharaoh. But that was good business dealing, good business sense. All right. Number 4, Jacob asked Joseph to promise him that when he died, that he would not bury him in Egypt. That's true or false? That is true. You'll see when we continue to read, whenever Moses brought the children of Israel out of Egypt, they carried Joseph's bone with them. Joseph said, "Don't leave my bones here." And Israel had already said, "Don't bury me here." And so they knew that their inheritance was in Canaan, because that's what God promised them, the land of Canaan. So they wanted to be buried in the promised land. Okay. Number 5. Manasseh is the name of Joseph's firstborn son. True or false? True. That is true. What was the name of his second son? Ephraim. What was significant about Ephraim and Manasseh that set them apart from all the other grandchildren? Can anybody tell me what happened? Okay, Sister Anderson.
When Jacob got ready to die, Jacob said that they were his sons. So Jacob's sons was part of the 12 tribes of Israel. So Manasseh and Ephraim became a part of that tribe, which made it more than 12, but that's what happened.
Yes, because when you read further on, you'll find out that Manasseh became a great nation, and Ephraim also became a great nation. But they were listed among the 12 tribes of Israel. And I don't know, the Bible continued to say 12 tribes, but we know that whenever Jacob moved into into Egypt, he had 12 sons. And his 12 sons became the 12 tribes of Israel. But Joseph became 2 tribes. And he told Joseph, say, "I have given you a portion above your brothers." So who usually get the double? That was a double portion. Everybody else got one portion in the tribes of Israel. But Joseph got double portion. So who was supposed to get the double portion? Reuben. Why was Reuben supposed to get the double portion? Okay, because Reuben was the firstborn. The firstborn child would get a double portion. So whenever the parent died and they divided the property, the firstborn son would always get a double portion. Okay, so what they put a lot of stock in the blessings, in the words of a father. You remember Jacob and Esau? They were at odds trying to get that blessing. And the blessing wasn't nothing but the words of the Father. But they wanted the words of the Father because they knew that whatever the Father spoke into their life, God was going to honor it. And the Lord let me know, I got 2 sons. Now, I got 3 daughters also, but I got 2 sons. And the Lord let me know I have to be careful how I speak concerning them. Now, when I say sons, I'm talking 2 biological sons, because I got more sons than that, because I got one back there almost old as me. But biological sons, I got 2 biological sons. And not only them, but the other sons that God gave me, God let me know I have to be very careful of how I speak into their lives. Because what I say to them and about them, God can honor it. So I have to make sure I try to speak good things, even though I might see ungodly things in them. I can't speak the ungodly things in their life to persist. I have to learn how to break the bondage of what they're going through. And so y'all pray with me for especially my 2 biological sons. I'm very much concerned about both of them. But I thank the Lord for my sons in the Lord, because I thank God for all of y'all. You all are a blessing, and it blesses me to see what God is doing, how he's using you. But what Jacob said when he spoke, that was what God honored, because God showed him some things that would happen in the future. Okay, Manasseh, that was true. Manasseh is Joseph's firstborn son. But oh yeah, we were still talking about the blessing, what the double portion, and Reuben was supposed to get the double portion because he was the oldest son, but he didn't get a double portion. Joseph got the double portion. Why did Reuben not get the double portion? I hear. What was it? He slept with his wife. Okay. Okay. Well, that's what he was saying. The same. That's what you meant, right? Yeah. Okay. Well, Jacob had 4 women. He had 2 that was like his wife that he was married to, and then he had 2 that was like a wife that he had children by. And his oldest son, Reuben, had sex with one of those women. Okay, and so Jacob didn't forget about that. When on his dying bed, he remembered what his son did to him. And so he told him, you will never succeed. All right. Number 6. Jacob placed his right hand upon the youngest son when he blessed them. True or false? True. That was true. Okay, what did Joseph do whenever he saw Jacob put his hand on the youngest son? See, what Jacob did was he walked up. Now Israel was seated because when he found out Joseph was coming, he sat up in the bed. And so Joseph, when he approached him with the 2 boys, he made sure that he put Ephraim on the left side of Joseph, and he put Manasseh on the right side of Joseph, so that when they blessed him, he would put the primary hand on Manasseh. But what Jacob did was he crossed his hand, and he put the right hand on the younger son. And Joseph said, no, that's wrong, Daddy. You don't do it like that, because you give the blessing, you put the right hand on the older son. And Jacob didn't pay him no mind. Jacob said he's going to be a great nation, but his brother going to be greater. All right. Number 7. Judah received the blessing from Jacob that his brothers would bow before him. True or false? I heard one person say true, one person say false. Let me read the question again. Maybe y'all didn't hear or understand. It says, Judah received a blessing from Jacob that his brothers would bow before him. Is that true or false? True. That is true. Now, what did that lead up to? Because Jacob told them, says, come and I will show you the things that would happen in the last days. He didn't say what's going to happen right now in your lifetime. He said what's going to happen in the last days. So what was significant about that prophecy concerning Judah? Yeah, I heard that Sunday school review there. Jesus came from the tribe of what? Judah. Of Judah. And so that's what Jacob was referring to. And when he said that his brothers will bow down to him, when he said, let me see, I wrote something down here and I wanted to write to see what y'all thought about that. He says, until Shiloh come. Can anybody tell me what that means? Let me see. Do y'all have that? Let's see. What verse is that? Okay, let me go back over here. This is in chapter number, okay, yeah, I believe it is chapter 49. My hands don't want. Okay, chapter 49 and verse 10. Can y'all pull that up for me, please? Okay, this is part of what he was speaking about concerning Judah. He says the scepter shall not depart from Judah. What does a scepter mean? What does that mean? Yeah, it's a I can't think of the right word. Anyway, it's something that represents authority. Okay, so the scepter shall not depart from Judah, nor a lawgiver from between his feet. Then it says, until Shiloh come. So what is Shiloh? Sister, what you say?
Would that still be Jesus? Because Jesus has the scepter of righteousness and all that. Would that still be Jesus?
Okay, but what is Shiloh?
Is that like Zion? The same as Zion, the city that David, the son of David.
Okay. Okay. Shiloh and Zion are not the same place, but yeah. But Shiloh was a place. One of the definitions for Shiloh. Shiloh was the place where the tabernacle was kept until they moved it to Jerusalem. So it was considered like a holy place, a place of rest and worship. It's also a title that means peace, peaceful, and it was a reference to the Messiah. And like she said, it represented Jesus. Shiloh was a city in the land of Israel where the tabernacle was set up after they conquered Canaan. And so Shiloh represented the coming of the Lord Jesus Christ. And so she was right about that. Okay. Now let's see. Where did we stop? Number 8. Okay. The 12 sons of Jacob became the 12 tribes of Israel. True or false? True. That is true. I already told y'all that one, okay? Everybody should have got that one right. All right. Number 9. After his death, Jacob's son buried him in Egypt with his father. I already gave y'all the answer. Now, that's true or false? False. That is false. Jacob said, when you bury me, don't bury me in Egypt, but carry me back. And the Bible talked about when they carried Jacob's body back to Canaan, all of Pharaoh's household went. All the children of Israel, except for the little children and the cattle, went. Can you imagine that was a great procession going from Egypt over into Canaan? I mean, it was such a large group of people. And then when they got there, how long they stayed? 7 days. See, we think when we take somebody out and bury them, we spend 3 hours. That's a lot. That funeral was 3 hours long. These people's funeral was 7 days long. And that don't count the time it took for them to get there. And even before they carried him into Canaan to bury him, how long did they mourn him in Egypt? 40 for 40 days. Somebody did some good reading and stuff, understand that. For 40 days, they let his body lay for 40 days before they decided to bury him. Why could they do that? What was the procedure that they did in Egypt? They embalmed him. Yeah, because see, a lot of times people didn't do that. When they die, they just go ahead on and bury them. But in Egypt, that's where the embalming, I understand where the embalming process comes from. They learned to do that. And that embalming, I heard one funeral director, I believe it was Brother Mr. Fluker. Yeah, he said, if you dig somebody up that he buried, I don't care how long it's going to be, they still going to look good. Because he knew what he was doing as far as embalming them. That embalming them is supposed to help preserve the body itself. And so that's why a lot of times with us now, with black people, we let people stay out. I was shocked. When my daddy died, they kept his body out about 2 or 3 weeks. I don't remember how long it was. But they kept his body out that long because most of his family was down in Riviera Beach, Palm Beach, and they were giving all of them time to come. So black people will do that. But usually with white people, if they die on Tuesday, they might bury them on Thursday. Yeah, because sometimes when they bury them, they might not be the same color that they was when they died. Okay, all right. Number 9. Number 10. After the death of his father, Joseph remembered the evil that his brothers did to him and put them in bondage. True or false? False. That is false. That they thought that when daddy died, See, after they buried Daddy, they said, now, Joseph might remember what we did to him and start putting us in bondage. So they went and ran to him, sent somebody to him, and let them know that they were sorry. They bowed down before him, say, we your servants. And so he showed them kindness. He did not. And Joseph told them, say, what you did, you meant it for evil. But God meant it for good, so that he could preserve many souls. Sometimes we don't understand why we go through what we go through. Sometimes we don't understand why good things happen, bad things happen to good people. But God got a way of taking bad things that people try to do to us and turn around and work it together for our good. All right. Y'all already traded back papers? All right. Before I ask the question, let me find my paper so I can mark down all these hundreds. I got a feeling everything gonna be all right. Okay. Find my pen. All right. Who got them all right? Me. All right. I believe that was Sister Lakeisha, wasn't it? Okay. Okay, let me find her name. All right, that gives Sister Lakeisha 8. Sister Scotty, got them all right. That gives Sister Scott 9. All right, Sister Bridget. That gives Sister Bridget 5. All right, anybody else? That's 3 people. Only 3 people got them all right. I tell you what, y'all messing me up. Okay, all right. Did you read? Let me see some hands of readers. Okay, all right. The readers are the real winners anyway. How many only got one wrong? Brother Murphy, Sister Jackie, Brother Wilkerson, Minister Van got one wrong. Okay, all right. I guess I didn't do as good a job as I thought I did. All right. How many only got 2 wrong? Brother Sidney and Sister Anderson, the only 2 got 2. Well, how many only got 3 wrong? Okay, did y'all really read? You read? And how many did you get wrong? 3 wrong. Okay. Okay. How many got only 1 wrong? Only Brother Murphy only got 1 wrong. Okay, well, we know we can't have no curve in tonight. We had a curve last week. Can't have no curve tonight. Okay. We did, because so many people missed the same question. They only had 1 wrong, and they missed the same question. So I had mercy on them, because I said, well, maybe the question was kind of obscure. Maybe I didn't do a good job on it. So I gave that to all of them. And so we had about 5 or 6 people that got them all right last week, because of so many of them it was about 4, I think it was, that got the same one wrong.
Did you give me my credit for making 100?
Yes, Sister Anderson made 100 last week. She was at home. You through with your class?
No, not yet.
Okay. Well, Sister Anderson missed the last 2 weeks, I believe, because she was taking a class.
Every other week.
Okay. All right. All right. Now, do anybody have anything that they read that really got their attention that they would like to discuss tonight? Sister Lakeisha.
I know before I go, this is what I want to say. So the Bible says that Jacob lived 17 years while he was in Egypt.
Right.
What's significant about that was when Joseph got sold into, the pit, went to the pit, and then when his brothers took his coat of many colors, guess how old he was?
17.
17 years old.
Yeah.
So God gave Jacob those 17 years back. With his son.
Okay, yeah, all right.
It was so volumes to me. It was so amazing. I was like, look how God will give you back. Hallelujah. What the cankerworms and the palmer worms and what everything was taken away from you, he'll give it back to you. That's significant. Thank you.
Okay, all right, that was good. All right, anybody else got anything else that was significant that you picked out? Okay, Sister Janie, Jean.
Chapter 49. What impressed me is something that I have been told a lot of my life. Speaking into the lives of your children,
Yes,
that we have to be very, very careful, like Pastor say, what you say, that it could manifest. But every child needs to hear from the elders that they are with. I don't have biological children of my own, but I have children that are with me all the time. And if I'm telling them that, oh, you're going to get a good grade today, when they get out the car at the school, you're going to get a green face, and you're going to make an A, and you're going to get better in math, and oh, you're pretty, and you're handsome, not to make them arrogant, but to let them know that somebody is speaking into their lives. I can remember the things that were spoken in my life when I was a child, good and bad. And had I listened to the bad and let that manifest, I wouldn't be where I am today.
all right.
Because I was told you never go to college and you'll never be this and you'll always just be that.
Well, you proved them wrong.
I proved them wrong. I didn't listen to the negative. But the people that say, oh, you can do it and you can make it, y'all speaking to your children's life and the children that are connected to you, the people that are connected to you, they need to hear. Men, little girls need to hear that they are pretty and they are all right the way they are, so that some jack man won't walk up to them and tell them something to make them their heads twitter and they giggle and they think, oh, now it feel. I think that's why I got married. I didn't know, but anyway, I married the wrong one. But anyway, it is important to speak into our children's lives, speaking to the lives of the children that are connected to you. It's very important. Do it as much as you can. Do it every time you see them. Put your hands on them and let them know you are going to do great things. That you are a child of God. I tell my babies, you are a child of the Most High God.
Amen.
You are a child of the Most High God. And I wanted to get in them.
And
You
you
are
walk in
wonderfully, beautifully made
what your parents
in
say.
the name of Jesus.
That's right. That's right. Because whatever you're speaking to their child, they'll either try to live up to it or live down to it. Whatever you tell them, that's what they try. That's the direction that you lead their life. So you have to learn to speak positive things. And like she was talking about the little girl. See, we know that sons need dad to speak in their life, but those little girls do too. And just like she say, if the daddy already let them know that they pretty and let the daddy out, so when somebody else come and say that won't be the first time, and they'll be used to hearing that, and they won't be carried away by that flattering, those smooth lips. So that is very important. All right, anybody got anything else? We still got about 7 minutes. Sister Anderson.
I was going to add to what Sister Burrow was saying about us speaking into the lives of our children. We speak positive things in their life, but also we have to discipline them too. That's two necessary things, but
Right.
they're different. So they also need to understand discipline and order, and sometimes we may not enforce that, thinking that we're doing the child, we're getting in favor with the child. But all children like parameters.
That's right.
What they do, they just see how far they can go. They test it to see how far you would let them go. But all children need parameters. They need both, what Sister Jamie said, and also they need parameters. And they need to know who they are, and they need to know that when they are in the wrong company and people talking against what the parents have said, that is not for your good and that is not for you.
Yeah, and if you don't give children parameters, they just keep going further and further, and they will self-destruct. They will. They'll go out there too far and end up and say, I've seen that happen. And they are self-destruct because they didn't have no stopping points. And so you have to do that. And you need to start early. If you wait until they get 15 and 16 years old, then you got to fight. Yeah, you think you want to be a man in this house? Let's see if you're gonna be a man. One of my friends, Brother Donnie Durrance, said that I believe it was one of his sons, and he told his son, if you don't behave yourself, say I'm gonna treat you like a man. And the boy said, I'll take it like a man. That's what he told him. And the boy got out of order, and when he got through with him, the next time the boy said, I'll take it like a boy. you can leave that man stuff alone. He said, I'll take it like a boy. Now, so sometimes you have to go to greater measures when you wait too late. See? And so you need to get them early, start them out at an early age so that they can learn parameters. And see, if they don't learn parameters at home, then they won't know it at school. And then you get mad with the teachers because your child always in the office or your child always being punished, ISS and OSS. And so now you're getting mad with the teachers. But the problem is you didn't teach him to obey at the house. So since you didn't teach him to obey at the house, he think he can do anything he want to at school. And then if he don't learn in school, then when he graduate and he get out into the streets, he still think he can do anything he want to. And see, the Lord told me, see, I had 4 children that were close together, doorsteps. And the Lord let me know, say, if you don't teach them the consequences of wrong decisions, if you don't teach them right in the home and chastise them, just because they're cute, that don't mean you don't need to chastise them. See, if you don't chastise them at home, when they grow up, they're going to get into society and the police going to chastise them. And you chastise them with love. But the police going to chastise them with blackjacks, with iron bars, with tasers. That's how they're going to, and guns. That's how because they're not going to chastise them with love. So if you do your job, you won't have so much trouble with the police doing the same job that you should have done. See? And so you have to just straighten them out. Start, and it might be hard. I remember my grandmama and them used to say, before they whip it, they're talking about, it's going to hurt me more than it hurt you. Man, what you talking about? I'm the one getting the whipping and you telling me it's going to hurt you more than it hurt me. So anyway, but you still need to do it for their sake. All right. Anybody got anything else? Brother Murphy.
This is, to me, it's really important how you have to hook up with the right people. If Pharaoh would have never hooked up with Joseph, he would have been in turmoil.
That's right. The whole nation.
He was so blessed, but he gave the blessings to Pharaoh. So it's amazing how, you can be somewhere where other people are being blessed, but yet still you're getting blessed as well.
That's right. That's right. So he was connected. Joseph was connected to God. Yeah. And so whenever Pharaoh connected to Joseph, he was getting connected to God. And God was the one that gave Pharaoh the dream to let him know what he was going to do. And then he gave Joseph the interpretation so he could explain to him what he had already showed to Pharaoh. And that blessed both of them. Blessed Joseph to get out of prison. And not only did he get out of prison, but he became exalted to the highest level in the country except for Pharaoh. So obey God. Stay with God. God is the one got your favor. All right, anybody else? We only got less than a minute. We thank the Lord for our children coming in from Children's Bible Study. All right. Anybody have any? We want to thank those of you that watched us on Facebook. Mr. Brother Ken, if you're watching, we thank God for you. Brother Thomas, if you're watching, we thank God for you. Sister Chestnut. And who's some of the favorites? Sister who?
Connie Black.
Yeah, Sister Connie Black, share. And it's 2 or 3 more, but y'all, I'm getting kind of old, so I don't be doing no name calling. Don't need to do no name calling because I know I'll leave somebody out. But we appreciate everybody. So we want to say be steadfast, unmovable, always abounding in the work of the Lord, for as much as you know your labor is not in vain in the Lord. Thank you for joining us. All right, I see our usher got the bucket back there in his hand, the offering. Give you a chance to sow a seed if you so desire. If you